The observation of self is so valuable. So this morning, while I was taking a shower, the dog decided to go into the corner of my bedroom and start to rip carpeting out. Didn't really make damage, it just disconnected, not a big deal. But what I noticed is my mind, my thoughts when we observe ourselves was like, oh great, one more thing to add to the list because I just flew in yesterday, right? So this week I've got a lot on my plate and a lot of things that are shifting that need to be attended to. So what I noticed when I stepped away and I released the situation, because it did make me upset. He did get to go in the kennel, which he never has to do. I just needed to contain him for a moment for me to be able to process. And it's below my standards to let something in my house like that stay. I need it fixed, right? But what I noticed is from a child, every single time something would happen in our household, my dad would say, oh, just one more thing, right? And this negative energy. So from my dad's perspective, what he is really saying when he's saying, oh my gosh, one more thing that he needs to do, he's saying, I lack capacity. I have too much on my plate. I can't take another thing on, right? It wasn't about the thing that happened or the thing he needed to fix. It had nothing to do with that. And so unconsciously, we run programs from our childhood. We do. And without the awareness of knowing, like, where did this come from? So what I did was, it wasn't I lack capacity. It was, there is still an unconscious program that is playing in the background very subtly in my system that came from my childhood of being in my dad's energy and making something come up mean I lack capacity. So what I need to do is I need to sit in the identity of the version of me that has unlimited capacity to be able to hold all of it. And so for the rest of the day, that is what I'm going to be practicing, right? Is to continue to allow my capacity to expand and hold. So you may ask, Becca, how are you going to expand your capacity? The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hire a handyman. Because when I looked at it, I was like, I don't actually know or feel confident in how to do this. And I don't necessarily want to take the time to learn. There's some things that I love to learn. There's some things that I don't. I get to decide. But having a handyman on call when something happens, right? Life. What I can do is I am allowed to allow help, right? That increases my capacity. So now it's no longer, how do I fix this or what do I do here? Instead, the answer is, I just call this person. I'm supported, right? Part of capacity is leaning back and receiving. And that's a huge part of the reason why you as a high achiever, entrepreneur, have a high stress level and a lack of capacity is because you're trying to still do it all unconsciously, right? There's still areas where you could just hand it off.